You have been a policy maker for a long time. Most of your books are always about policies, policies about agriculture development, policies about youth empowerment, politics about statecraft, politics about technology enhancement, politics about diplomacy, intergovernmental relationship. So why is this government not consulting you? And why are you not? Why are you just here writing books and you are not on board doing something for the government, giving them ideas that can turn the country around? Because I've been reading most of your books. You've written 10 books now, and most of them are particularly on technology, on economic developments, on intergovernmental relationship, and on nation building generally. So why are you being? Can we call it the case of a prophet that is not honored in his homeland, sir?
Well, I wouldn't employ myself. I wouldn't force somebody to employ me. Therefore, if for any reason I'm not asked to assist, it's okay. I will only keep on writing my books, hoping that people will read it, you know. And that is something that is left for the authorities to decide who they ask to come in and advise or whatever, you know. And being a political regime, you find that politicians have a way of thinking, because the president may want to, but you find that the party members are saying no. You know, you haven't taken this, you haven't taken that person, you haven't taken. And there is under so much pressure to take lists every day. You find that lists will be coming from party chairman, governor, and also the party members. So the president cannot, in that kind of situation, start thinking of General Momah, who is not a politician, who is not ready to go and campaign and get votes. So
always not ready to be visiting people in the house in the night. In the houses in the night.
You know, so once you're not a politician, they just place you aside.
But you're a policy maker. You're a policy actualizer. I mean, in a normal production setting, we say a content provider. So you should be the one contributing content for the government to say, okay, this is a policy paper. So why they not?
Our policies are service oriented, to offer service, not to go and, you know, collect money, you know,
or share money.
Yeah, share money. Until that starts happening, you find that we'll be somewhere. And this is why I'm talking of restructuring. You know, we must restructure.
Yes, I'm surprised that you started talking about restructuring even before Vice President Azikiwe brought the campaign. A lot of people were even feeling that maybe he took it from some of your books. So why did you start campaigning about restructuring? Why?
Yeah, because that is the only thing that will change Nigeria.
And what is your definition of restructuring, sir? Because a lot of people say, okay, is it restructuring in reallocation of oil wells from individuals to states, or is it restructuring in terms of derivative fund from the oil that we're making, or is it restructuring in terms of making every state to discover their own mineral resources so that we will not...
you know,
so
restructuring has been the most bastardized word in Nigeria. Various meanings have been given to restructuring. Some think it has to do with resource control. Some think it has to do with division of powers through federalism. Some think it means confederation. Some think it's a redistribution of wealth. Some think that it has to do with, you know, even disintegration of Nigeria, which is, restructuring is none of that. Restructuring is for the reform, revival, rejuvenation, and reinforcement of what makes up the Nigerian structure. And Nigerians should get to know that with the signing of climate change agreement in Paris on the 12th of December 2015, that the paradigm has changed with regards to restructuring. That we have no choice about it but to restructure. Why? Because the climate change agreement states that by year 2030 there will be no more fossil fuel being used to drive our cars. That means the crude oil will cease to sell. No buyer. Because most cars will be electric or solar, or they could be hydrogen, or they could be hydro, or whatever. And so, if that is going to be the case, if now that we are producing 1.5 million barrels of oil every day at about $60–70 per barrel, 27 states cannot pay salary. 15 states are bankrupt. 30 states cannot contribute to pension scheme for their workers. 32 states cannot survive on the internally generated revenue. About 20 million Nigerians are unemployed. Our debt profile is $72 billion now as a country. We are producing oil. Can you imagine what will happen if this oil does not sell in 12 years' time?
I won't have a great situation.
So that's what my talk tomorrow.
On the book?
Yes. To tell Nigerians that we must make haste.
That is restructuring Nigeria beyond oil. They're pulling Nigeria off the brink, the rescue imperatives.
So this is what I want to tell them, that we must restructure. It's a matter of choice. It is not again about resource control or selling oil well. No, because that oil well in 12 years' time will be redundant. Will be a liability. There will be no person coming to Abuja to share money. So when that happens, what do we do? So it is now that we have a little money in the kitty that we can start structuring, use it to reorganize ourselves.
You always talk about the state, that the state are too many. So what's the solution?
So we are going to, that is the restructuring we are talking about.
Okay, sir.
And in a nutshell, my restructuring concept is that the states will become provinces. And the present zones will become the states. That will have 6 states. And within the states,
6 provinces.
The states will become provinces.
Okay.
So that you do away with State House of Assembly. And no commissioner, nothing. But the state will be just provincial council. So you cut off a lot of expenses. And then this reduction in states will help you to consolidate on your assets. You know, now every state wants to have its own teaching hospital.
Yes, sir.
Want to have its own airport.
Radio station.
Want to have its own radio station, its own newspaper. Want to have its own 5-star hotel. Want to have his own stadium. Want to have his own this and that. Why is that his own polytechnic? Have his own. So when this happens, some of these universities will become campus of one major university. The thing is that there will be people that will be rendered unemployed, but it must be that people who will now be financed to start creating wealth. It is then that people will now start knowing that, yes, I must utilize my chance and create some wealth, not just waiting for government to give me money.
Let's quickly go back to before we round up, to the issue of Boko Haram and the herdsmen killing. You were the pioneer director of the National War College, and you also gave lectures in the Army Doctrine Command. You are one of the top officers who you raised some young people into the Nigerian Army. But looking at it today, would you say that the kind of army you build is the kind of army that is operating now, whereby we are fighting in Boko Haram in the forest and people are dying? I mean, there's a guerrilla warfare and soldiers are facing it and dying in millions, and the terrorists are escaping and all that. Do you think the kind of military command that you instructed and you moderated is the result we're getting right now? What do you think is the problem, and what is the panacea?
Well, as I'm saying that I don't want to condemn the military the way they are now, because I'm not there to really attest to what is happening. But all I do know is that the war we are fighting is not being fought with the proper tactics. We are fighting a guerrilla war. We are fighting an insurrection as if it's a conventional war. When I see the news and hear that we are going to buy new aircraft and all that,
$1 billion.
and I wonder what the hell is Air Force got to do with fighting guerrillas in the bush. These are guerrillas that are not in uniform. They are not dug in somewhere. They just tell you, they see some marketplace, they just say, this may be Boko Haram, they go and bomb them. Boko Haram, terrorists are people, they could be eating with you during the day. At night, they go into action. So, we are fighting the war with the wrong tactics. And I wonder, why? You can't win a guerrilla war, a terrorist war, without involving those involved. The natives, the communities, all those that are in that vicinity must be part of you. Because they will not give you information as to what everybody is doing. And I've said this before. Until and when we make sure that everybody, every Nigerian carries an ID card that tells you who he is, where he's working, and where, because if you do that, you'll be able to know that this man is back. You know where everybody is. And anybody you catch that doesn't have an ID card, you throw him to prison. So with that kind of thing, you know what, people now who are jobless, they be put under wash. This man is not doing anything. He's not a farmer, a bricklayer, he's just nothing. He has no office. So at least our community will now start giving you information. So what we are doing now is just chasing shadow.
In the real sense, it's chasing shadow indeed.
Yeah. It could be just a small girl can be asked to go and be suicide bomber in the market. So what are you carrying an aircraft to go and bomb who? So I don't know. When I see them deploying Air Force in the Northeast, I feel...
In fact, there was a time the Air Force even bombed an IDP camp. They threw bomb and a lot of people died.
So, I don't know. This is things that some of us who are experienced military men, because that's one thing that is lacking. Because, in the army, we have what we call regular combatant soldiers.
Yes, sir.
The people like us are the regular combatants. We are the professional soldiers. When you get trained in an academy, you are not a regular combatant. There are people who just come, like if you now finish from university, you go for interview, they take you. We call it short service commission. You are not really a professional soldier. You are supposed to serve for maybe 12 years, 15 years, and you retire. But it doesn't happen in Nigerian army. You find that they maneuver and change their commission one day to regular combatant. When actually they are not combatants. So you see, when they now get to a position of authority, they misapply the military tactics because they are not really professional soldiers.
Wrong discretion.
And then you find that those of us who train abroad in the academies, we are well polished, we are well groomed. And that is why I have my fear that if anything happens to Nigeria,
I think it's a great fear. I think it's a great fear.
I think we'll be very cross our fingers because the kind of training we give to our officers here in Nigeria is not the best. If you go to the academy I trained in India, the academy is somewhere in the bush. We do not even have anywhere to. Once you get in there, you get in there. The discipline, you can't believe. You'll be molded. It's not a joking matter. But when you have an academy that's inside the town, You go there, see cadets smoking, just drinking, those sort of things. We never did all that. And therefore, the grinding was so thorough. But they understand what it means to have military discipline. So, this is why you find that give or take, some of our soldiers, they are not as good because the circumstances and the environment of their training.
Porous.
And, you know, I don't know details of what goes on in the academy, but I don't think it's the best.
But considering the fact that the president and the commander-in-chief is a soldier, and considering the fact that he's your friend and your former boss, you work with him as a principal staff officer. If you see him, have you been able to see him? And when you see him, what do you discuss with him? And is there a forum you can tell him some of the home truths, especially about the military situation and the political situation in the country?
I've not had the opportunity to see him except once.
Okay.
And it was very brief. And I must say that we talked at length. But the thing is, statecraft is something you cannot really determine how it goes.
Okay, are you saying okay, statecraft, just like we have witchcraft, statecraft?
Yes, because you can never tell what is going on within the villa. All sorts of
permutations,
political missiles will be going on the grounds. You know, all sorts of conspiracy. Like today, here they want to impeach this person. All sorts of things go on. So it doesn't give the leader the peace of mind to really, you know, sit down and think more of Nigeria. And that's what I'm talking about, the followership. Nigeria must not blame our leaders so much. We must also, we as followers, you know, we must try and help, see how we can help the situation by how we. Because when I was a minister, I was amazed at how people just come to my office to see about 100 people waiting to see me.
Why?
They're just coming. Somebody will come and say, I just wanted to greet you. I saw you on TV. And you know, and say, okay, I've seen you. How are you, sir? I hope you are this. But I met you in one conference. You know, you shook hands with me. I said, okay, thank you. Okay. Sir, I don't have transport money. If you restructure, you find that everybody will learn to be responsible. Now, because every month people gather around in Abuja and share money. You know? So they don't think, they don't...
No innovation.
No innovation, no creativity. Planning, nothing.
Even if the record be telling their minister they want to share 400 million, so where's the innovation?
Yes. You know? And you find that when they get share this money, someone will move from Abuja here to Lagos, then over 6 p.m. Go and bank the money and come back and wait for the next month. Meanwhile, it's owing workers. You know? So I've no amount of anti-corruption crusade will solve all our problems. What we need to do is to restructure. And restructure should be total and holistic. You know? So that there will be no loopholes left for anybody to do anything. Like this TSA we're talking about now.
Yeah, treasury single account.
Yes, I mean, these are kind of thing policy can just make somebody to control.
So each organization has just one single account.
Today, there is a law passed that nobody sends money out of the country except through central bank. You find that you'll be saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be saving a lot. And that's what happens in most third world countries. India, Burma, or what I call it now, all these third world countries. They don't just allow people to send money out. If you go to Dubai, they don't even allow you, they don't open an account for you. Except you're a resident.
So there's no encouragement for.
They don't encourage money just moving out and coming in anyhow. You have to be a resident. So they can monitor what you do and how you do with the money. But if you are in Abuja here and you have money account there, you just they can't monitor you. Because from here you now send the money to UK from where? No. If you are a resident, they see Either you are a businessman, or you're a banker, or you're this. And they know how the money, where it's coming from.
Yep. And where it's going.
You know, so this is what we are lacking. Have a policy. When we're talking about restructuring, people think it's only to allocate oil money. No. Restructuring the administrative bureaucracy is inclusive.
Yep.
You know? And certain other things that should be done. So once we do all that, you find that some of these loopholes will be tightened, and people will be forced to do the right thing, whether they like it or not. You know? So we are looking at the next dispensation. Yeah, 2019 will be a watershed year for Nigeria. That will be the most critical election in Nigeria. Because anybody who wins that election must restructure Nigeria, or be ready to accept a collapsed Nigeria sooner than later, because we have no choice than to do that. We cannot continue to just allow states to be owing workers.
No, it's not possible. That's that's horrible on its own.
The federal government is bailing them out. Federal government is bailing them out is also owing banks abroad. Federal loans, debt profile is rising. So, and you now give the bailout because oil money rose to so amounts. What happens now if the oil price just slump? You can sustain it if you are sure that oil money will remain at that level or higher. But you cannot tell. This oil money, okay, today is $70 or something per barrel. Tomorrow it can just go down to 50. So what do you do? So we must restructure both physically and mentally and socially, so that people will now be more frugal in what they do and be more exemplary how they do them. Because if, like the governors who, when they move around, you see a convoy of 20 cars.
Yes.
Why?
That's craziness, sir. That's stupidity.
No? So the masses will be seeing the car, 20 vehicles following one man. But if we had a situation whereby, number one, the car they are going to use must be assembled in Nigeria, and they don't have a right to move with more than 2 vehicles. As a minister, I had only my escort vehicle. That's all. I never had any vehicle behind me, just for the sake of
security.
You know, no protocol.
Well,
I would have wished to just do all the security vehicle. I had only that security vehicle. And if I get to any red light, the vehicle will stop. When I became a minister, I told my driver, the first time he drove me, I said, if you get to any red light, obey the traffic signs and don't move. Stay in the queue. He said, yes, sir. He's a military man, a sergeant. The first day he took me, after when I closed from work, the first red light, he zoomed across. I told him, I go back. He then went back and did the right thing. So since then, he knew that I was serious. See what the example could make. He now knew I was serious. And I was happy that when Olusegun took over in 1999, somebody was telling me that I wasn't there. One of the ministers was telling me that some foreigners, some pressmen from abroad were asking him, you say Abacha was bad. Was all his ministers also bad? So none of them said that there were only 2 ministers who were good. General Momah and General Kontangora.
General Momah and General Kontangora from Niger State.
Yes. And those are the 2 that they had where they were not corrupt, they were very exemplary as military men. And you know, they get to traffic, they just, you know. So whatever we do, people are seeing. You know, and if for instance, that policy is made clear to ministers, to governors, that you don't move with more than 1 car or 2 or 3. And it starts with the head of state. Example is everybody follows. Senate President, everybody. You find that everybody now will toe that line, start behaving. You know? And then everybody will buy made in Nigeria car. or made in an assembled car. And that will create employment for those motor companies. But you go, you see them ordering for 50 cars from Japan. All sorts of things are going on. It's sad. It's sad.